Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a plan with me using a theme from our planner collab on Instagram called Meadows and Mountains. As you can see here, I cut out my own mountains and meadow and added some greenery and a little bit of snow cap on top. And just getting ready to put my letters on there for Meadows on the bottom. As you can see, I'm not an artist. This was definitely out of my comfort zone to try to draw or cut out a picture to meet that particular theme. But thinking about it and pulling in the wording and making those mountains and adding the trees and the greenery just to give it that look of a mountain and meadow there. I thought, well, that wasn't half bad. I kind of like the way it is turning out as I'm adding that. As you can see, I'm putting the letters on there and they're not quite going down the way that I want them to go down. But I really like the letters. They're perfect size and just give it a nice little look. So you can see meadows on the bottom. You'll see that I'm still struggling with those as I'm trying to put them down. I want to give it a little bit of a whimsical look, playful, even though it's dark letters and more of a dark look on the pictures that I made. But so I wanted to kind of give them a little look of whimsical or fun as I'm putting them down. So you see meadows there. And just talking about just some of the things that I want to put together. I pulled some other stickers down and just wanted to share with you on that. So I think next you'll see me pulling out the letters for and that I put over there on the other side near the meadow. I kept the meadow on the bottom since I had the meadow on the bottom of the spread. And then at the top I'll put mountains when that time comes. You see, I'm going to be putting the word and of course I didn't quite like the way I had it kind of put too close together, so decided let's move that around a little bit and give it a little bit more of a playful look also, so it doesn't take up. I still wanted to leave some room for my functionality in my spread. And during the conversation I'm having with you here that you can't here, just talking about how many calendars that I'm using at this point. Have moved them around where I have my catch-all, my business, my social media, and an extra one for my spreads in one calendar now instead of having 8 of them together. And you see at the top I put top priority, and I've decided I'm going to use to do, but I'm going to cut that in a couple spots so that it can kind of sit in the corner. So it allows me to use the bottom part, that box there. You see I've cut the bottom off. I'm going to cut it again and kind of fit it right in the corner. So I can use the box just below that for some function, add some lines or some dots, which I'll do that later on in the spread. So that gives me a to-do area there. And then I'll start pulling together some of the boxes that I want to use in the spread. Try to get some quotes in there as well. And so I think it's coming together a little rather nicely. Just trying to figure out what box I want to put where at that point, because I have a couple of quotes in there, and that box, it says give, live, breathe, and that came out of the farmhouse. I believe that says give, live, breathe. And then I have that one, that particular one just says begin. Because of course if we don't begin, we'll never move forward or never finish. So I thought that was good, having that begin. Plus it has the greenery in it, and I'm kind of pulling in some greens. I'm trying to stay with the green theme and color there because I have so much darkness in the photos and then also in the lettering. So I wanted to pull in some green there. So I'm just laying that box under my mountain so that it doesn't take away from the snow cap on the mountain. I thought that looked really good there, so I wanted to keep that there. I'm just trying to fix that little, didn't really rip it, but just to make sure its head would stay down as I was starting to write on it. And then I pulled that up to add some greenery behind it, just trying to keep, again, the greenery. So it kind of gives you, when you think of meadow, you think of flowers and grass, and so I wanted to have leaves and some greenery in there just to kind of give it color and give it that almost that lively look. And I'm adding it in behind that box as well. You can see I almost ripped it there, so I just kind of thought, oh, I just better leave it there, so it gives me, but I like that we've got that greenery coming out behind it. And so I'm looking at, and so then I have a box that has some function. So of course then I want to pull up a little bit on the meadow so I can put that underneath so it doesn't take away from that picture of the meadow that I cut out, so it'll fit right in there behind it. So it's almost seamless then. So I thought it was starting to come together really nicely. So pulled some more leaves. Wanted to put one behind there. And so that one was not a green, was not coming up. So I thought, why not just put it behind there a little bit, just so it gives me some color behind it. So I decided to cut the stem off so I can set it right behind it, so it fits a little bit better behind the to-do. So I gave that, again, gave some color, so we had some. So I really didn't do too much balancing. I tried to balance, as you can see, from the mountains on one side to the meadow on the other. But then I had boxes and I had the leaves. So, and I had the word, so I kind of wasn't really balancing out where I had box and box and leaf, but it was adding color. So I decided to start adding some boxes, and I decided to stick with the green, so it would give you almost give you that feel of growth and of life. When you think of meadows, you think, again, I say you think of plants and you think of greenery, and so I decided to stick with the green and just put some functional boxes in around some of the decoration that I had. So because typically on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I have a lot to do, and not necessarily so much on the rest of the week unless I have appointments. So typically those are the busy days for me, is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because I do work in my office outside of having real estate appointments on the other days. So I really liked the way that it was coming together with adding the boxes over top of the mountains. And I decided to add a box on the underneath, which of course there we can't see it. I didn't have the page right where it needed to be so we could see it, but I decided to add check boxes there on the bottom under the mountains instead of boxes, so we could still have room to write. And then I added a couple underneath my to-do, which is what I intended on doing, just so we have some functionality in the area where we needed it on the days that I had things to do. So again, I put a box there, and I thought I would have some things to write there, but I wasn't quite happy with how that looked. So I think it was pretty crooked at that point, so I pulled that one off and tried to straighten it out. But as you can see, I had the boxes there. So I could have some function. And of course, I'm right there. I'm thinking I have my meadows, and then I forgot I didn't have my mountains. So I had to think about where I wanted to put mountains. But of course, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to put lines. They're using my checkbox. And I'm thinking, oh, that's where I forgot. I didn't put my mountains. So now here I'm going to be putting the mountains at the top, so that you see it coincides with the mountains being at the top of the page there, where I had the meadows and at the bottom of the page. So I was putting my mountains, and the light was hitting it pretty well, because these are black letters with a little bit of sheen, so it was kind of hard to see them there. But right there I'm putting the word mountains, so that, because of course that is the name of my spread, Meadows and Mountains. So I'm just trying to put that across there before I finish up with my check boxes. That will add the functionality to the spread, that I could have the decoration as well as have an area to write my plans for the week. So when I was finished with it, I really did like the way it looked. Other than a couple of mistakes I made doing my lines in there, I was very happy with how that turned out. It was not too much. It was just enough to show what the theme was, the meadows and the mountains. So again, like I said, this was really out of my comfort zone, and I wasn't quite sure where I was going with it when I pulled that together. I pulled those out and cut out the mountains and the meadows, pulled some stickers, and was not real sure where I was going with it, and I think it turned out rather nicely. So you see I'm having a little bit of struggle with the pen going in through there, and wasn't quite happy with about how a couple of them looked, but for the most part I think it turned out rather nicely. So you see I'm erasing it there and just trying to fix that. But I believe I just put lines there, and I put lines on Monday, and then I was done. I believe I was pretty happy with it. Finishing up my lines there with my check it off. So I have lines in function on Monday. I had boxes on Tuesday, boxes on Wednesday, some lines on Thursday, just for some things I had to do. So look, I had some functionality, and I was able to meet a challenge that was definitely out of my comfort zone. So I hope that you enjoyed watching my spread as I put my plan with me for meadows and mountains. And I hope you would hit like and subscribe so you will see other videos as I get them out. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.